I used to think that the best cities in Southeast Asia were the loudest ones, the most intense and the busiest. The ones that made you feel like something was always happening. But 6 months into living in Malaysia, I'd realised I'd been measuring cities completely wrong. Kuala Lumpur doesn't shout for your attention. The upside is much quieter than that. It's in the trees, the pace, and the way your everyday life actually feels. And once I noticed that, I couldn't unsee it. In this video, I want to show you what I've genuinely come to appreciate about living here in Malaysia. The greenery you don't see on Instagram, why calm doesn't mean boring, why value actually feels fair here, and the small trade-offs that you actually need to understand. Because by the end, you might actually start measuring cities differently too. Okay, so today I'm filming from KLCC Park. Yesterday I had a nice little reset. I saw an awesome deal online for the Mandarin Oriental to book for one night as a little treat. And it genuinely felt like a little mini vacation without leaving the city. Think slow morning, pool, skyline views, and space to think. And sitting up there, overlooking the park and the skyline view, it really crystallized something for me. You've got the scale, the towers, and the energy of the city in the distance. But right here, it's calm. And that's the distinction that I've come to appreciate over time. But I still do love the vibrant cities here in Southeast Asia. Think your Saigons, your Bangkoks, and your Jakartas. The energy is electric, it pulls you in, and it feels like you're in the middle of something that's truly energizing. And I still genuinely enjoy going back to those places. But there's a difference between enjoying and thriving in the city that you live in compared to a city that you visit. Those cities are stimulating, but for me now, Kuala Lumpur is stability. Now, don't get me wrong, I've featured Bangkok in this channel a little bit now, and I do still love it there, and I may consider moving back there in the future. Think a quiet little neighbourhood in a house, perhaps 45 to 60 minutes outside of the city centre with good connections to the city. But stability is something that I've come to value more in recent times, and Kuala Lumpur city centre is somewhere that offers me that calm, stabilising and grounded feeling. Okay, lesson 1. When people picture Kuala Lumpur, they imagine skyscrapers, and I get it. The Petronas Twin Towers and the KLCC skyline are quite a sight to behold. But what you don't see in most photos is how green it actually is here. KLCC Park, Desa Park City, tree-lined streets in Mont Kiara, balconies framed by foliage, not just glass towers. Just take a look at this for a second. It's not hyper-manicured, it's organic, and that makes it feel breathable. When you take a walk here or a run in the morning, you're not in a concrete corridor and you're surrounded by shade. And for me, that affects my nervous system more than I actually realised. I came for the skyline while I stayed for the trees. That, my friend, is the first hidden upside. Kuala Lumpur quietly gives you more greenery than other cities that shout about being livable. And once you start to use the park like a local, instead of photographing it like a tourist, you'll notice something else. Lesson 2, calmness. Kuala Lumpur, it certainly does move, but it does it at its own pace and it certainly doesn't feel rushed. In other cities, sometimes it felt like if you were slowing down, you were missing out. My passions of exercise, including gym, tennis, and maybe the odd run or game of football. Also, you can think about filming, coffees, simple dinners, and editing in places of calm. For me, calm, it doesn't feel empty, it feels sustainable. And that, my friend, is the second hidden upside. The city, it doesn't push you for just existing in it. And in my experience, that calmer baseline, it shows up in another area too. And that is my daily expenditure. Lesson 3, fair value. What surprised me the most is how often the prices, they feel fair. Rents for the quality that you get, healthcare, eating out, gym memberships, and services. You don't feel constantly financially squeezed, and you're not thinking, is it worth it, every time you go outside. In my opinion, that creates something powerful and subtle, mental space. And that psychological lightness, it compounds over time. And in my experience, that's the third hidden upside that I'm coming to. It feels balanced. Not, wow, this is cheap. And likewise, not, why am I being rinsed? just balanced. And in my experience, once your week starts to feel calmer and financially lighter, that's when the next upside starts to reveal itself. Lesson 4, Malaysia as a base. Kuala Lumpur makes it easy to get in and out of the rest of Malaysia and the region. Langkawi felt completely different, and Ipoh felt cultural and food focused. And I've hardly scratched the surface. Penang, Malacca, Sabah, Sarawak, the Perhentian Islands, Redang Island. Kuala Lumpur works fantastic as a base. You have so many options, both within the region of Southeast Asia and further afield, that you're literally spoilt for choice. And for me, the hidden upside here is that my life in Kuala Lumpur doesn't feel any smaller than my adventures in other destinations. All right, lesson 5 is the food layer. Daily life here has texture, and that certainly also shows up in the food. Think dim sum mornings, mamak stores for dinner in the evenings, and a refreshing coconut in the afternoon. Also Malay nasi dishes that I'm still learning, and Indian curries that taste completely different to what I grew up with. 6 months in, and I'm definitely still a beginner. But that is what keeps it interesting. It's layered and not overwhelming. All right, lesson 6, living with the rain. You learn quickly that tropical rain doesn't follow your plans. You measure your day in 20-minute storms rather than 3-hour commutes. If you try fighting it, it can become frustrating, whereas if you design your life around it, it becomes the regular daily rhythm. Transport-wise, yes, there is the MRT and LRT here, and they do cover a good range of the city. However, just be mindful that it's not quite as expansive as some other cities, such as Bangkok. So just be aware that you will use those e-hailing apps such as Grab and Bolt on a fairly regular basis, unless you do decide to go ahead and purchase a vehicle of your own, such as a car, which can be a great lifestyle choice if it does fit your routine. So that's the design here. Kuala Lumpur isn't some sort of magic pill that completely changed my life. And that, my friend, is the 4th hidden upside. The life here, it flows much more smoothly than other cities may look on paper. Okay, and on to lesson 7. And this part, you're not able to track via a spreadsheet. The warmth and the hospitality of the people here. I still remember, I think it was the 2nd week I was here, someone lent me an umbrella in Sri Hartimas when I was caught in the rain. After using it for a short period of time, I turned around to return it, and they were getting into their car. They said, no worries, and just drove off. A small moment, but it sticks in here and in here. English is also very common here, pretty much almost a first language. Smiles are common, and conversations feel light and welcoming. And that ease, it quietly compounds on a day-to-day basis. And that, my friend, is the next upside. Kuala Lumpur quietly removes some of the frictions that you would associate with adult life. So, my friends, what has 6 months in Malaysia really changed for me? I stopped measuring cities by how exciting they are, and instead changing that to how they feel on a regular day. Kuala Lumpur, it doesn't shout and it doesn't overwhelm you with spectacle, and daily interactions that feel welcoming and easy. If you want Southeast Asia to change your Instagram, Kuala Lumpur, it isn't loud enough. If you want it to quietly change your life, then that is the hidden upside. And that is what I was actually looking for, even if I didn't realize it at first. And that, my friend, is my 6 months of living so far in this wonderful country of Malaysia.